What's going on, everybody? This is our Q&A part 2 on what was it, like love, sex, dating, relationships, all the above. This is a resource really just for you guys, but this is our leaders. We're trying to answer some of the stuff that's relevant to you guys. We got Steven. You want to say hi real quick?
Hello.
All right, and we got Sarah.
Hey.
All right, so we're gonna just keep going with the questions, and then we like one of y'all could take it. We can all take it together. I'm just gonna go through what I think we left off from Q&A 2. Um, okay, this one's for everyone. What do you do if you get rejected once and then kept on getting rejected by more and more people? Do you stop? Do you question? Again, that's the question. I'm gonna go for it. What do y'all think? Like, I'm assuming they're trying, right? Like they're in this spot and they're trying. So what do you do? What do you say to that person?
Well, I think like they should think about their tactic. If they're constantly getting rejected, maybe they're like moving too fast or
Mm,
they're just completely reading a person wrong. Or two, maybe they should really kind of evaluate themselves and think like, oh, maybe like there's something like that's not necessarily wrong, but not necessarily a good thing either
yeah,
that
yeah,
people don't want as a partner.
yeah. Okay, as a female, are there certain things that you're just like, okay, hey, first couple approaches, I would like guys to do this, and I would like guys not to do this.
Um, that's a good question.
No, like not be like physically aggressive at the beginning.
Oh yeah, definitely no. I
Mm.
think yeah, don't move too fast. Oh, like if we have mutual friends, hang out in groups.
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
That's good.
Group
Um, but
hangs.
also hang
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
one-on-one
Huh?
because I think both are important to
What's
like get to know someone.
okay? What are the pros and cons of group and individual, Stevo? Why
I
is
think in it,
why would hanging out with a group be beneficial?
I think one, there's less pressure in that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
You can always bounce like you have people there that are like, if the conversation isn't like flowing the way you want it to flow, you can always talk to the people. But then, I mean, you don't have to feel that like, oh, I'm on a date right now. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I'm here, we're hanging out as friends, we're trying to get to know each other, but in a group setting kind of
yeah.
deal. So,
And I would
um,
say like if your friends are like good friends, they would let you know like, hey man, this is probably not the good time, or like, yo, you are being way too creepy. Like, cut it out.
yeah.
Like they should be good friends and like save you from that. No.
Yeah, I would hope that they would like, call you out on if you're being like too overly aggressive or
Mm.
maybe not as assertive as you need to be, maybe.
Oh.
You know
Okay,
what I
so
mean?
you're saying, Steven, you're saying you should let your group know. Should you let your group know that you got a crush on this person, or like you're trying that night, or
I mean, I would tell my boys for sure. You know what I
okay.
mean? Like, I wouldn't go into the situation where it's like I'm the only one that knows what's going on in the situation, and like I have
Okay.
my intentions. That way they
Uh,
can check me. You know what I mean? Like, so
Sarah,
if I'm
agree.
getting, too,
Hmm.
whatever, then they be like, hey, Steven, like, calm down, like, or like, hey, ramp it up a little bit. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
okay,
So,
okay, okay. So it's both sides.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Next question. It's for anybody. How do you feel about a person talking to multiple people at once?
Mm.
Okay, the question says talking to multiple people at once, not dating. So
Yeah.
let's go with talking first, since that was the question. What do y'all think about this?
I mean, that's a hard question because what does talking mean?
Oh, yeah,
Are you talking with intention of pursuing all of them, or are you talking with intention of like maybe one of them will stick?
okay, okay. Let's ooh. Which
It's
one
like
you
a
gonna
numbers game.
which one you gonna play first? Let's go with the shotgun approach of let's
Just
see, let's cast the net really. Is there pros and cons of that? What do y'all think?
Well, I mean, your
yes.
pros
I
are your
mean,
probabilities are higher. Um,
Okay,
math.
okay. Math. Okay, got statistics going. What else?
the cons are people are gonna see if people know that that's your tactic, a lot of people aren't gonna
Yeah.
like that and see it as
Mm.
a very negative thing.
Okay. Okay.
They're gonna see it as not as sincere as
Yeah.
you're trying to be, you know? Like
Yeah.
you're just casting as much as
You're
you
just
can.
another number.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, let's go to the second situation. What if talking in terms of intentionality?
Mm.
I guess
With
that's worse
multiple
then.
people, right? Yeah, yeah.
I guess that makes okay, kid. Let's go with the obvious one. Kid, what do you guys feel about dating multiple people at once?
Not a good idea.
Why? And again, I think it's somewhat obvious, but let's go through the whys, right? And I'm gonna throw my first one out. I think it's just a financial thing. Like it's really expensive. I can't even afford one, much less like two or three, right? Like that's gonna be pretty tough. What do you guys got? Anything else?
I mean, it shows you have commitment issues,
Mm,
which is not good for future.
mm, mm. You might get blacklisted. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's do this one. How do you mature through teen life? That's just the question. It's pretty broad. Let's go
Yeah.
broad and then we can go more narrow. How would you guys? I mean, the three of us work with students. We've been working with students for a while now. Um, are there things that we would be like, okay, in middle school, this is the best way to mature, or these some really good advice, and then high school, and then let's go to college too. So let's go with middle school. Stephen, you've been working with middle schoolers a lot, right? And
Yeah.
so what for you, what are some things on maturity that you're like, hey, just as an individual, these are some things you should probably think through.
I think in middle school, especially as if it pertains to like relationships and dating,
Yeah.
I mean, as a middle schooler, like that was not my number one priority when I was in middle school. But I mean, for those that, have that pressure, that feel that pressure to do it, I guess my biggest advice is don't put pressure on yourself on that. Like
Yeah.
there's you have so much life to live. Like and honestly, the relationships that you do build in middle school, I think you should build foundations, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't be like, oh, hey, I need to find a girlfriend right away or whatever,
Mhm.
or a boyfriend. You should be able to build like friendships first, because I feel
Yeah.
like once you build the friendship, you can build that as a stepping block to something more possibly later on.
Yeah. And that's hard, man. Like even right now, I think even our youth group, we need to not only teach the students how to build better friendships, but like even ourselves, like how do we cultivate better friendships? And so maybe that's something that we just got to think through. Sarah, what about you? Like for an advice for a middle school girl, right? What are some things that you see now on this side of uh youth? Like this is some advice I would wish someone would given me as a middle school girl.
I think like find an older person that you can look up to
Mm,
and learn from. Um, and also find an older person that you can be close to. Like for me, it would have been an older female, right? Same gender, like that you can get close to and learn from, and then like be comfortable asking questions
yeah.
and then trust their opinion, like that they're being honest, trust it and actually like use it, whatever they say.
Yeah. Well, again, that's going to be hard too, right? Like I think initially everyone's going to jump in with like skepticism, and I think that has to be built and has to be earned, right? And as for leaders, I think we have to do a better job cultivating that thing, being more present, right? But I think for the middle schoolers, like they gotta, I don't know, it's not like this stuff is not taught, right? Like it's just assumed. Okay, is there any differences in high school? Like, hey, Steven, you said build some basics. Sarah said mentors. Is there a big change in high school when it comes to these type of things? Do you think? I mean, the first thing that pops in my mind is maybe social media. Just kind of check yourself how you
Yeah.
filter it. Like, I mean, I right now I'm going through Keller's kind of four source idols, and I think like the idol of comparison when it comes to social media is a killer, especially in high school, oh, college, and young adults, right? I mean, like the idol of comparison is going to be the one that's like, oh my gosh, not only like is everyone dating or everyone looks beautiful, but they're rich and they're like always traveling, and like you just create this imaginary relationship that you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be doomed for the rest of my life. Do y'all see that, or am I just like an old fart?
Yes.
Yes,
I
I'm an
mean,
old
maybe
fart.
both.
Both.
Fine, take it.
I think like I see it both in high school and even like in college. Like
Mm,
I think unfortunately like social media has such a huge impact on everyone. And so I think that's always going to be a problem.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me ask the two of you guys this: can social media be a positive for forming good relationships, or like helping us in this period of thinking through love, sex, and dating? What's the positive? Is there any positive with social media?
There
I,
can be a
y-
positive.
yeah.
All right, give me
Mhm.
some. What you got? I can't think. I can think of a
Well,
couple. I want to hear from you.
I think it's hard for like especially like our generation, Justin. Like we didn't have this in middle school,
Yeah,
high
we had
school.
Zynga.
Exactly. Like our social media was like very minimum at that point,
Yeah,
and like we weren't exposed to it, and so like it's there wasn't as much pressure as like these high school kids or
yeah,
these college kids are facing now. And so
yeah,
like when I try to give them advice, it's like I don't really know honestly because I didn't live in that world.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so I don't
Okay.
know. I mean I'm sure there are positives to social media, right? I think there's positives to mostly anything if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
spin it the right way. But I do see
Okay.
there I feel there are more pitfalls and
More
traps
cons.
within
Yeah,
social media
yeah,
than anything. But
yeah. Sarah, do you have anything like? Are there positives
I mean, I think I mostly agree with what he said. It's
that
hard
we're
to
old,
find the
or that there's
positive.
positives?
Both.
Oh, okay, fine.
I
We're just gonna
think
play that.
like you can find positives if you're looking for them,
Yeah,
but you have to be looking like you're just gonna scroll and really only see negatives.
yeah.
But like you can take that as a positive thing would be this is what not to do, you know? And so it's like you
Learn
can
from the
twist it
fool.
into a positive.
Yeah. Which, man, I mean, for anyone under 30, right? I'm like, that takes a really strong mind, right? And a very solid heart sometimes. Like to be able to kind of like pierce through all of the junk, right? And I think I don't know about you guys, and if whoever's listening, like for me, sometimes I'll hear some really good advice, but then I'll scroll to the next thing, and then it's like it doesn't ever sink. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm gonna like, you know, write it down or journal it. But like again, after 10 seconds of another someone's post, I'm like, okay, I forgot what it is. You know what I mean? So I think that's part. I think another good one is like there's resources now, right? Like Stephen, yeah, we grew up where there's like no resources whatsoever on love, sex, and dating. And now there's like a billion like good ones.
Mhm.
So I think my advice, not just to the two of you guys, but to anyone, is hey, find good sources and use them as like a third, fourth party authority, right? And again, might have some great advice, but I think some of your best advice are from the people that know you the best, right? It's your church. I think it's your DG leaders. I think it's your pastors and your parents. Like they're the ones who've already committed to you. The guy on the internet, they don't care. Like they don't care about you like whatsoever, right? And so I think lean into your community. So, okay. Any final words on love, sex, dating? We're gonna wrap up Q&A part 2. Uh, Sarah, I'm gonna go to you first. Uh, any last words on this stuff for guys, girls, youth, adults?
Um, my final words are to stay plugged into a community. If you're in a relationship, have your relationship be public, like be around other people because they will pull you out of something that you don't see. And listen to your peers or your elders, whoever it is that's trying to help you.
That's a good word. Steven?
I actually told my boys this past Sunday. I told them don't take singleness as a curse.
Yeah. That's good.
I think it's easy for us guys especially to fall into the trap and lie of like I'm being punished, for being
Yeah.
single or
Yeah.
whatnot. I can't find anybody, and especially for an Asian male, you know what I mean? Like I remember like growing up, like my grandmother would always say, "Hey, when are you gonna get a girlfriend?" Or like all
Yeah.
my aunties like, "Hey, when are you gonna get a girlfriend?" And it cut deep, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's like I had that pressure on me because I'm like the only male in my family that didn't have a relationship. And so, I told my boys like, hey, it's okay. Like there's no rush. There's no need to be, in a relationship because you feel that your friends are in one, or whatever. And honestly, take singleness as a gift. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And don't treat it as like, oh, I'm being punished by God for
Yeah.
being single.
No, that's good. So if you guys are watching, whoever watches this, like this really is for us, like for the community at CBC, and the three of us, we really just want to walk with you. And again, I think we keep saying this, like this whole topic, like it's part of life. And again, I think we're trying to be better. We're trying to not just to hit this only in February where it's typical or suggested, but like, I mean, we want to run through life together for the long haul and commit to one another. But the biggest thing is like, hey, we think Jesus actually makes sense in this realm. Like he makes total sense on his advice. Like he's smarter than anyone out there when it comes to these things. And so I think the three of us, I mean, I think we've struggled a ton. I think we know where we definitely are weak in these things. But I think our hope for anyone who's listening, and just even for the three of us tonight, is like, hey, Jesus knows what he's doing. Let's trust him, not only here, but for eternity and just for eternal things as well. And so our prayer for you guys is to, hey, be like, we're here. We're trying to do this just as much as you guys are. And you're not ever alone on these type of things. And so thanks for listening to episode 2. We'll do some follow-up. We'll tune in for episode 3 where we ask some other crazy questions. All right, guys. You guys want to say goodbye? Later.
Bye.
See you.
Bye, guys.